Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Oregon Employment Department's listening session for Friday, October 27th. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lindsay Leahy, and I'm the Unemployment Insurance Division Director here at the Employment Department. We'll get started in just a few minutes. All righty, let's get started. Again, my name is Lindsay Leahy, and I'm the Unemployment Insurance Division Director here at the Employment Department. Thanks so much for joining us here today. This listening session is being simultaneously interpreted in Spanish. If you would like to view the simultaneous interpretation, please follow the instructions shown on the slide, which are click the interpretation box in the bottom Zoom bar, and then choose Spanish. The presenter's voice will be lowered while the interpreter speaks over it. You can choose to mute the presenter if you prefer. Before we get to today's topic, we want to remind you that this is a public webinar that is being recorded and will be posted online. We cannot discuss any claim or business-related issues in this public forum. Do not put personal or business information into the Q&A or chat boxes. For help with a claim issue, please use our online Contact Us form at unemployment.oregon.gov or call 877-345-3484. For business issues, please send a message at francis.oregon.gov/employer or call 503-947-1488. During the next 60 minutes, we would like to share some information about the rule updates that the Employment Department is planning and to gather your perspectives on two proposed rule amendments. The first rule change is regarding enhanced data sharing with the Oregon Department of Human Services, ODHS. Within Oregon state government, there has been increasing emphasis over the last several years to think more broadly about the government's responsibility to customers and other interested parties. State agencies are looking into how they can provide greater equity of service, better alignment of services between agencies, more responsive customer service, and overall better outcomes. In order to support these goals, the Oregon Department of Human Services is leading an effort to construct a shared longitudinal dataset that would connect information regarding Oregonians across systems and agencies and across time into a single data system. Other agencies participating in this effort are the Oregon Health Authority, the Oregon Youth Authority, the Oregon Department of Corrections, the Oregon Department of Education, including the Early Learning Division, Oregon Housing and Community Services, and the Higher Education Coordinating Commission. Federal regulations permit the Employment Department to disclose confidential information to other agencies. However, current Oregon administrative rules prohibit us from sharing our customers' data with other agencies without those customers entering into an express written contract, providing informed consent to the data sharing. In order for the Employment Department to participate in the Oregon Department of Human Services Longitudinal Dataset effort, we need to amend our administrative rule, OAR 471-010-0120, so that it does not require us to notify a customer and secure their informed consent prior to the disclosure of the de-identified information. The second rule amendment also focuses on data sharing. However, this change focuses on the way customers can authorize the release of their information to a third party. Currently, informed consent requests to release information must either be witnessed or verified by an Employment Department employee or WorkSource Oregon partner, or the document must be notarized. The Employment Department is modernizing our systems and creating an online portal, Francis Online, where customers can securely log in and file a claim, complete questionnaires, view their documents and decisions, and more. As part of that modernization effort, we are creating an online version of the informed consent document that customers submit electronically. The proposed rule change to OAR 471-010-0105 will clarify that customers who securely log into their Francis online account and submit the form electronically have a verified signature. Protecting our customers' personal data and privacy is a top priority for the Employment Department, so we want to be careful about how this updated rule language is worded and how the rule changes are implemented to ensure that our customers are protected as much as possible. Now we're going to move into the details about the comment and question portion of today's listening session. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted to unemployment.oregon.gov. Since the listening session is limited to 60 minutes, we ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. We may need to reduce the comment time to 2 minutes if a large number of people would like to comment. That way, we can ensure everyone has the opportunity to be heard today. If there is limited participation, we may end the webinar early if there are no more questions or comments. If you would like to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and I will call on people in the order that hands are raised. Please make sure to state your full name and tell us if you are making a comment or asking a question. If you are joining us by phone today, please press *6 to unmute yourself when you're called on. If technical difficulties prevent you from participating, please email your comment or question to oed_communications@employ.oregon.gov. If you do not want to speak but have a comment that you would like to share or a question you would like answered, please put your question in the Q&A box. Our unemployment insurance listening session panelists are available to answer your questions. They are Lisa, Tim, Carol, and Sarah. Please remember, we cannot answer questions specific to your business or benefit claim in this public forum. For help with claim issues, please use our online Contact Us form at unemployment.oregon.gov or call 877-345-3484. For business issues, please send us a message at francis.oregon.gov/employer or call 503-947-1488. I look forward to hearing your comments and thank you for your participation today. Looks like we have a couple of hands raised. James Fong, you should be unmuted. Go ahead with your question.
I have a comment, not a question.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Jim Fong. I'm an independent strategic consultant. I'm in private practice based in the Rogue Valley in Southern Oregon. And my clients are public sector agencies and nonprofit community-based organizations who seek to improve the services, transform their systems, and improve the life outcomes for the people they serve. I have over 40 years of experience managing public human services, workforce development, and nonprofit human resource development programs. And as a national expert in the applied use of longitudinal data analytics, I strongly support the rule changes being proposed by the Oregon Employment Department. These rule changes are an essential next step for the state of Oregon so that its various state agencies can share data and work seamlessly together with regional and community partners to use state-of-the-art data analytic tools to improve the life success outcomes for all the Oregonians they serve. These improvements would include K through 12 and early learning educational outcomes like kindergarten readiness, social emotional learning, resiliency, math, reading, proficiency levels, high school graduation, and the successful transition from high school to post-secondary training, education, or the high demand, high wage career pathway jobs awaiting students. We also need to become much more effective in preventing homelessness and overcoming the impacts of intergenerational poverty, life trauma, and adverse childhood experiences so that we can truly enhance people's well-being and lives by addressing these critical social determinants of health. And we need to build better pathways out of poverty to help all Oregonians access the essential employability skills and specific occupational skills they need to successfully get into the labor market, climb up career pathways that we need to make more accessible, and fill into the many job openings in the labor market in this protracted era we are in of a profound labor shortage. We need to do all of this while focusing on addressing equity issues to ensure that all Oregonians have access to these opportunities for success. While additional data sharing efforts are also needed, this rule change is a good first starting point to get these data sharing and analytic methodologies fully implemented. I also want to provide a bit more detail on my professional background to help paint a full picture of the expertise I've gained over the years in applied use of longitudinal data analytics and why I think this rule change is so important to implement. My previous background includes serving as the executive director of the Rogue Workforce Partnership from 2006 to 2022. This is the federal and state authorized local workforce development board charged with overseeing and weaving together all the federal and state funded workforce programs in the Rogue Valley so they function as a unified system. In support of this work and in partnership with the Oregon Department of Human Services and Oregon's then Chief Education Officer, we launched a pilot initiative in 2018 to use longitudinal data analytic tools to improve outcomes in early learning, K through 12 education, human services, and workforce development. Our other partners included the Oregon Business Council and Econ Northwest. To date, these efforts have been severely limited by the barriers in data sharing that this employment department rule seeks to change and to address. And prior to this work, I was a senior associate at the HECC Foundation, leading consulting engagements across the country to help cities and states and tribal nations improve their services and make significant measurable impacts to human service systems and the families they serve. This included child welfare agencies, public assistance, workforce development, juvenile justice, and other health and human service agencies, as well as grassroots comprehensive community improvement initiatives. For me, this work also included serving as faculty on the National Governors Association Policy Academy on cross-systems agency collaboration, where we worked with many states to enhance services and outcomes. All these efforts I described focus on implementing large-scale human services systems transformation through the use of longitudinal data analytics, along with cutting-edge change management and learning organization tools. These partners included research organizations from the University of Wisconsin, University of Chicago, Rockefeller Institute of Government, University of California, Berkeley, and the University of North Carolina. And they all worked with us to pioneer the development of state-of-the-art longitudinal data analytic tools and methods that empower public sector stakeholders with the critical information needed to make well-informed, real-time decisions on policy changes, program management, design, and the frontline practice innovation. Prior to this, when I before working at KC, I worked at the Oregon Department of Human Services at the state and regional levels. We were a national leader in welfare reform and service integration. And when I first moved to Casey Foundation and saw these tools, analytic tools being developed, I was in awe. My jaw literally dropped when I realized their potential for creating even more profound benefits to the clients we serve. It was like adding a new, incredibly effective power tool to an already good tool belt, but all of our previous tools were just really good hand tools. This was game changing. So I saw these impacts and benefits directly, and success after success, state after state, in the consulting teams we engage with, and all the states across the country. I know firsthand from this lived experience how powerful a tool applied data analytics can be for generating these kinds of systems transformation, program improvements, and life success outcomes for those we serve. And I know it can be utilized safely to ensure that all personal privacy rights are stringently honored, any bias in the data accounted for and addressed, and that only strength-based, trauma-informed practices are used. To bring this work to scale, states like Oregon have been working diligently to create longitudinal databases through federal grants on the state longitudinal data systems and the Workforce Data Quality Initiative. So the rule changes such as those being proposed by the Oregon Employment Department are now needed to pave the way for the systems improvement and transformation work to begin in earnest. So in closing, I really want to urge the Oregon Employment Department and support them in implementing these rule changes at the earliest opportunity so that the de-identified labor market information collected by the department and the data sharing permissions that you're asking for from clients can be shared with ODHS to provide this greater equity of service, this better alignment of services between agencies, and a more responsive customer service. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate your comment. All right, and then we'll go to John Topanga.
Taponia, yes.
Taponia, apologies. Yes, John, please go ahead with your question or comment.
Excellent. John Taponia, I'm here today representing Echo Northwest. I'm a senior policy advisor, but led the firm for 12 years leading up to 2021. And also here as an independent contractor to the Oregon Business Council. And so Jim made reference to the collaboration during his testimony. I would just simply say I agreed with every word and clause that Jim just uttered, and am, like Jim, in very strong support of these proposed changes. Both Echo Northwest and Oregon Business Council have collaborated on longitudinal data analyses using education, human service, employment department data in the past, and it is useful in both giving us a much deeper understanding of the current conditions and policy landscape that policymakers are operating in, but it can also be very powerful in understanding where our interventions are or are not having the kind of impact that we are hoping they would. So again, thank you for all the work that you've done up to this point, and strongly encourage you to move forward with these changes.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the comment. Great. Anyone else has a comment or question? Feel free to raise your hand to speak, or you can drop your question or comment into the Q&A box if you prefer.
Hi, Lindsay. This is Jim Fong again. I did have a question I forgot to ask earlier.
Oh, sure.
I know there were a number of other partners around the state that were not able to attend yesterday's or today's sessions. And should I suggest to them that they send their comments to you by email then?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that's fine. They can send, if they have comments or questions that they want to share, they can send it to the OED_communications email box.
Okay. That was a different email than what was in the original announcement on this then, correct?
It should be the same one.
Oh, it didn't have OED underslash in it. It just had communications in employeeoregon.gov.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. So what was in the announcement, go ahead and send it. I think both of those email addresses go to the same box.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much.
Either way, it'll get to our communication shop and get to me, and then we can add it to all of our feedback.
Awesome, terrific. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Jim. Just as a quick reminder, if you have a comment or a question, you can raise your hand and I will call on you, or if you prefer to enter that in writing, you can go ahead and drop that into the Q&A box. Looks like we don't have a lot of additional participation, so we'll give it about 5 more minutes. If you have a question or a comment that you'd like to put in the Q&A box, or if you'd like to raise your hand, then I can call on you. Otherwise, we'll close a little early today. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of our time here today. This listening session was recorded and we will post it on our website at unemployment.oregon.gov. Next week, we will be hosting 2 listening sessions regarding the definition of equity and good conscience, which we use in our administrative rules when deciding who is eligible for a waiver of overpaid benefits from the unemployment insurance program. Those listening sessions will take place on Thursday, November 2nd at 3:30 p.m. and on Friday, November 3rd at 8:00 a.m. Pacific time. For updates or to register to attend those listening sessions, please visit unemployment.oregon.gov. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for the valuable feedback that you provided. We really do appreciate it. Have a great day.